So here we are in the middle of a pandemic that is affecting all of our lives and challenging us to be flexible, challenging us to be creative and adapt to different situations. And what a wonderful time to learn the Dharma and put it into practice. Because what we need to learn is how to be flexible, how to be adaptive, how to be creative. So although we have a deep sense of sorrow for the suffering of sentient beings during the pandemic, let's also be upbeat about our opportunity to challenge during these our opportunity to practice during these challenging times, because this is the perfect opportunity to really transform our minds and progress on the path. So generate that appreciation for the opportunity, as well as a sense of compassion for everybody. And from that, have a motivation to attain full awakening, however long it takes, so that we can be of the greatest benefit to all sentient beings. So we should remember that difficulties are no problem when it comes to practicing the Dharma. Okay, so don't say, oh, I have so many difficulties, I can't practice. No, this is the time you practice in order to overcome the difficulties. Because sometimes when we don't have difficulties, then we get so complacent, so spoiled, and our practice really stagnates. Now, okay. So we are on verse 32. Okay. Oops. Okay. So, we're in the section about purification. Okay, and we just had a lot of verses about confession and regret and really learning to be honest with ourselves, learning to be transparent. We've all made mistakes. There's nothing to be ashamed of. Yeah, they say the one good qualities of negativities is they can be purified. Okay. If they couldn't be purified, then you can generate a mountain of shame if you are so inclined. Yeah, if you wish to avoid the uselessness of shaming yourself, then remember that there's purification that can counteract all of this. So we talked about regret because that's the first element that we have to purify. If we don't regret something, we're not going to want to purify. So then verse 32, okay, meditating on regret by fearing death with negativity, and then that's going to push us into going for refuge. And going for refuge is part of another one of the four opponent powers, because it remedies any negativity we may have created with the three jewels. And generating bodhicitta is the other part of that, because it remedies the negativities created with respect to sentient beings. Okay? So, verse 32. But I may well perish before all my transgressions have been purified. So please protect me in such a way as will swiftly and surely free me from them. So this is sitting down and looking at our situation. Okay? We've, created a lot of negativity. And we could die without having had the chance to purify it. Because death is definite, but the time of death is indefinite. We don't know when we're going to die. So we may have the mind that says, oh yes, there's all these negativities and I need to purify them, but I'm very busy now. Okay? I'm doing all these other things now. Yeah? I'm learning different languages. Yeah? I am, learning all sorts of interesting things. Disneyland is going to reopen again. I want to go. That's on my bucket list. Don't you want to go to Disneyland? Yeah? The bars are going to open soon. That's where I'll go to meet some people. Yeah, and have a little drink, and that'll just kind of relax me. So I have lots of time actually to purify. Yeah, I want to have a family first. Yeah, have some kids. Don't you want to have a family? No? Oh dear, what's wrong with you? You need to get a life. You wanna get ahead in your career? Yeah, no, you don't want to do that? Boy, you people, really weird.
Losers.
Huh? Losers. Yes. You're not contributing to the economy and you are losers. The president would be very ashamed of you. Okay, he might even tweet about you. So be careful. Yeah. So, that we're busy. We don't have time to practice Dharma. There's other things we want to do first. But what Shantideva is saying here is, we think we're in control. We think we can decide everything. But death, we can't decide. It comes when it comes. And if we don't put our energy into purifying now, death could come first. And then we die with all those negative imprints on the mind, knowing that, very good chance they will ripen into an unfortunate rebirth. And we also die with a lot of regret, thinking I've had that opportunity to purify and I totally blew it. Yeah, I was too busy chasing worldly pleasures to do it, and now I have to, what do they say, face the music? That's a strange expression, isn't it? We have to face death, and it's not a festival with music. Okay, so we're realizing that that's our situation. And we're saying to the Buddhas and Bodhisattvas, please protect me in such a way as I will swiftly and surely free me from them. Okay, so it sounds like we're calling out to the Buddhas and Bodhisattvas who are going to whoosh down, pick us up, put us in some protective area, like an ICU in a hospital that isn't filled with COVID patients. And then the Buddhas and Bodhisattvas are going to do the hard work to swiftly and surely free us from our negativities. That's not how the Buddhas help us. Yeah, you heard last night, His Holiness's talk. He said the way the Buddhas and Bodhisattvas help us is by teaching us the Dharma. Of the Buddha's body, speech, and mind, it's their speech that is the most important for us, because it's with their speech that they teach us. When we hear the teachings, then we have the opportunity to practice them. When we practice, we purify our afflictions. We purify our transgressions and our negative karma. Okay, nobody else can do it for us. We can pay somebody to mow the lawn. We can pay somebody to clean the house. We can't pay anybody to clean our mind. Okay? So this is how they benefit us. So in this verse, although we're saying, Buddhas and Bodhisattvas, please protect me, what we're really saying is, wake up, me, wake up and, exercise your ability to purify your negativities. Stop being so complacent. Don't think somebody else is going to purify for you. Don't think you have a lot of extra time. Okay, is this clear? Yeah? No? What's not clear?
The way that it's phrased, it seems very much like an appeal at the time of death. Some special force could enter the picture, like POA or something.
Yeah.
To help our mind, positive seeds ripen, maybe.
Okay.
It just seems very externally referenced.
But what was my explanation of what it really meant?
Yes, I know, but it still sounds very...
So the reason they phrase things in this way is because we are so externally oriented that if we make a request to an external power, it invigorates us to have faith and energy to do something. Okay? So it's worded, like you said, as if somebody else is going to do something at death. Okay, now, even if you think like that, Amitabha's going to show up with the 8 bodhisattvas, there they come, and they're going to pick you up and take you into the Pure Land. Now, if you think like that, ask yourself, okay, in my life, when I go to Dharma teachings, how much do I follow them? When my teachers give me instructions, how much do I follow the instructions? To what extent do I listen and put it into practice? Because the extent that I do that in my regular life is the extent to which, if Amitabha comes, I will follow Amitabha's instructions. So if I can't seem to make it to Dharma teachings because I'm too busy, if I forget the Dharma teachings, if I'm full of doubt and I don't bother to think about things and investigate them, if things are clear but I don't take the time to practice them, then what makes me think at the time of death, when my mind is so confused and my body is failing me, that even if the Buddha appeared before me, at that time I'm going to wake up and do and follow the instructions? Okay? So it's It's worded in that way, but the meaning is actually for us to wake up and do what we can now. Yeah? If we do that, then if Amitabha or the Buddha or Akshobhya come at the time we die, great, we'll recognize them, we'll follow them. But it's not like, like Amitabha's going to come and, tap you on the shoulder and say, okay, time to come to the Pure Land now. I don't think that's the way Amitabha guides us to the Pure Land, because going to the Pure Land isn't a matter of going up 3 clouds, turn right and go to the second cloud and then turn left again. Okay? Going to the Pure Land is a matter of our state of mind. Okay? So using the Dharma teachings to put our mind in the proper state of mind to be born in the Pure Land. Yeah. We don't need a physical passport to go to the Pure Land. We don't need a visa. Yeah. Finally, some country will accept American citizens, even though there's the pandemic going on here. You can go to the Pure Land, no problem. But you go to the Pure Land through the state of your mind. Yeah, this body does not go there. Okay? Okay, verse 33. The untrustworthy Lord of Death waits not for things to be done or undone. Whether I am sick or healthy, this fleeting lifespan is unstable. So those of us who've been practicing for a while, oh yes, death is definite, time of death is indefinite. When we die, body, possessions, and friends and relatives don't matter. What's for lunch? We know all the words, okay? But we don't know it in here, okay? So the untrustworthy Lord of Death. Why is it Lord of Death? First of all, there's no real Lord of Death. This is anthropomizing death, okay? It's not like there's some big monster that's going to come, okay? But death is untrustworthy. We don't know when it's going to come. We don't know when it's going to come. Yeah. And it could come today. There's every day when we wake up in the morning, there's going to be people who die that day. Every single person who dies that day woke up in the morning thinking, death won't be today. Even they're in palliative care in a hospice, death won't be today. It will be tomorrow. It will be later. Okay, that's our habitual way of thinking. Okay, and in fact, we don't really know. Now, part of our mind says, well, I'm young, I'm healthy, death isn't going to come today. But how many people do you know who are your age or younger who have died? Yeah. We look at the explosion in Lebanon. Yeah. Well, how many people died? Well over 100, and thousands of people injured. Did anybody who died a couple of days ago in that explosion, did they wake up in the morning thinking they were going to die that day? No, none of them did. The people who died, what age were they? Were they all old people? No. There were kids in school. Yeah. There were children at the hospital. There were, young people working. There was even a video of a bride preparing for her wedding, showing off her wedding gown. And in the middle, somebody's filming this. And in the middle, she's just totally blown off her feet by the explosion. I don't know if she died or not. But, we don't know when death is going to come. So we might say, well, chance of having an explosion out here is very rare. But how many people die of heart attacks when they haven't had any heart problem before? How many people have strokes, even when they're young? Yeah. How many people have all sorts of things happen to them? And, it wasn't in their daily schedule. Maybe they're injured. Car accident, motorcycle accident, who knows? So the Lord of Death is untrustworthy. We don't know when death is going to come. And the Lord of Death does not wait for things to be done or undone. So it's not like, okay, I'm still writing this series of books for His Holiness. Death won't come until I've finished it. Yeah, what kind of insurance policy can I buy that's going to insure that? Yeah. I'm in the middle of doing this, that, or the other thing. Death isn't going to come until I finish. My dad was in the middle of eating his birthday dinner when he died. Yeah, we are always in the middle of doing something. And death comes when it comes, whether we've finished what we're doing or we haven't finished it. Whether we've accomplished what we wanted to accomplish or we haven't. Okay? So it waits not for things to be done or undone, whether I am sick or healthy. This fleeting lifespan is unstable. So we can be perfectly healthy one day and dead by the evening. Okay, so to be aware of that, because when we're aware of that, we don't develop a panicky fear. That's not what we're trying to do, is get ourselves all freaked out with panic. What we're trying to do is develop a realistic view of what life is about, which is, it is unstable. And developing that realistic view, which doesn't involve getting freaked out and panicky and so on, developing that view actually invigorates our life and makes us much more alive, and I think much happier. Yeah. Why? Because we really use every moment of our life doing what is important, and we don't waste time on stupid agios. Okay? So we're not going to waste time on being mad at somebody. We're not going to waste time on, sitting there and stewing, nobody likes me, everybody hates me. Okay, we're not going to sit there and get depressed because we can't do anything right, because we know we can do a lot of things. And so we're going to use our life in a very vivid way to do what is meaningful. We're not going to be couch potatoes. Okay, so the awareness of death from a Buddhist perspective enlivens our life and makes it much more vibrant, because we do what is really important and we don't sweat the rest of it. Okay, so today when things happen and they aren't the way you want them to be, just ask yourself, do I really want to be thinking about this when I die? Yeah, what would happen if I died now? Okay? And it's tremendously helpful for just letting go of things. 34. Leaving all, I must part alone. Yet through not having understood this, I committed various kinds of wrongdoing for the sake of my friends and foes. Okay, when we die alone. Nobody comes with us. This is one of the 6 disadvantages of samsara. Nobody comes with us. We could be in a room full of people, but none of them come with us. And none of them, unless they are Dharma friends or our teacher, really benefit us at the time of death. In fact, they can become a huge distraction at the time of death. Okay, and we leave all. Okay, so when we leave, it's not like, we had a trial run for a fire a few days ago, and we had to bring our little bag with the important stuff in it. When we die, we can't take that little bag with us. Yeah, we can't take our passport or our money or our tablet or our phone or our photo albums or our robes, with us. Yeah. They all stay here, and our consciousness goes on alone. Okay. But through not having understood that, during our life, we've done all sorts of activities for the sake of friends and foes. So what have we done for the sake of friends? Sometimes we've lied to get people to like us. Or once they like us, we lie for them to cover up things for them because they're our friends. Okay, what have we done? We sometimes cheat and steal to get more money or more possessions for our family. Okay, we lie to get advantages when on applications. Yeah, for our friends, for ourselves. Okay, we do all sorts of things for the pleasures of this life. We just go ahead and do it. Yeah, if we want to have an affair, we go and have an affair. Yeah, we're doing it for the sake of our friend. They need some love. Yeah, right. How about we need some sense pleasure? That's a little bit more truthful. Okay, but we engage in all sorts of wrongdoing for the sake of our friends, for the sake of our enemies also. Okay, I mean, if you join an army, yeah, you join the the Proud Boys. Yeah, you join the Antifa. You get swept up by Alex Jones' InfoWars, so that now you have so many enemies. Yeah, that now my life has meaning. I can destroy these enemies. Yeah, the deep state. Yeah, I'm going to get all these people. Yeah, and we commit incredible negativities. Yeah, even we don't have that degree of animosity towards people. We get mad at somebody because they ruined our reputation. We get mad at somebody because they trashed us behind our back. Even though what they said was true, they still weren't supposed to let other people know. Okay, so we get mad at people. We want revenge. We think lots of malice thoughts, we act them out physically or verbally, we create a ton of negativity. Okay? So, for the sake of friends and foes who do not go with us to the next lifetime, we've created a lot of negative karma. And the negative karma, the seeds of those negativities, go with us to the next lifetime. And they influence what we're born as, what our habitual mental patterns are. Yeah, what happens to us in that life? And even what kind of environments and places we find ourselves in. So the friends and foes who we've committed negativity for stay here. The results of the actions we've done for them, either to please them or harm them, the seeds go with us into the next life, and the results of those actions will be experienced if we don't purify. So for 35, my foes will become nothing, my friends will become nothing. I too will become nothing. Likewise, all will become nothing. Okay? So none of this stuff goes with me. It all changes and becomes something else. My foes become nothing. They aren't going to be my foes in all the future lives. They're going to die and be reborn in a totally different body. We'll have totally different relationships. My friends will be born in, universes apart. We may not meet each other for eons, and when we meet each other, we won't recognize each other. Okay? I too will become nothing. No, I won't. They'll have an obituary for me in the newspaper. My family has a family tree. I will be noted in the family tree. All my grandchildren and great-grandchildren and great-great-great-great-great-grandchildren will want to know about my life because they want to know their family tree. I will not become nothing. Yeah, I was a big deal in my workplace. Yeah, I was employee of the month. They will still have my picture on the wall. Employee of the month. Yeah, February 1908. I will be remembered. But the problem with that is we aren't going to be around to enjoy it. We're going to be born in another realm, experiencing the reality of the other realm, the next realm. What people say about us here doesn't matter. Beans, not beans. Okay. And in fact, if you think you're going to be remembered and all these people are going to look up to you and praise you for who you were in your life because you left that legacy, also remember that they could take down your statue too. Robert E. Lee, Stonewall Jackson. Who are the other ones? Jefferson Davis. Those are the three big ones, aren't they? Yeah? They were the heroes of the lost cause, glorified by millions of people. And now their statues are in the dirt. And their reputation is now maybe for some people still a war hero, but for other people, their reputation is, I can't say it. Beep, 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 beep. Okay? So what good does all that do you? What good? Well, I was on the Union side. Yeah? I was the president who started the League of Nations, who was making the world safe for democracy. I am Woodrow Wilson. Yeah, they have a school at Princeton named after me. What?
Not anymore.
Not anymore. Yeah, because Woodrow Wilson wanted the world to be safe for democracy, but he didn't want democracy in his own country. He reinstituted segregation. Yeah. So don't start getting too enraptured with your reputation in the future. Okay? Because who knows what your relatives and your country people are going to say about you in the future. And anyway, whatever they say about you, it does not influence where you're reborn. It does not prevent you from attaining Dharma realizations. It doesn't prevent you or help you from getting a precious human life. Your reputation counts for beings. Yeah, when you die. You can't go to the Lord of Death and say, pull out your college certificate or your PhD diploma or the picture of you sitting in your corner office or the picture of you standing before an American flag or the picture of you saving puppies. You know, whatever is your thing, yeah, the Lord of Death is not interested in it. Yeah. The Lord of Death doesn't care whether you speak Sanskrit or not. Yeah. Unless you plan on going to the Lord of Death and saying, hello, nice to meet you. Oops, I don't mean nice to meet you, but you say it in Sanskrit. Then the Lord of Death will be very impressed. Yeah. And if you can say it in Tibetan too. Tashitale, Lord of Death. Yeah. How unpleasant it is to meet you. Yeah. And maybe you can say it in Italian and Japanese and Chinese and Polish too. And the Lord of Death will say, look at this person. So talented linguistically. Okay, so none of that really matters. Verse 36, just like a dream experience, whatever things I enjoy will become a memory. Whatever has passed will not be seen again. Okay, so last night's dream, you may have had a nightmare, you may have had a fantastic dream. Is it happening now? Was it ever a real event? It was just an appearance to the mind. Similarly, this life is just an appearance to this mind. Nothing has any core. Yeah. And no worldly activity is going to earn us brownie points because the law of karma is a natural law. It functions whether we believe in it or not. If we create virtue, happiness comes. If we create non-virtue, suffering comes. Yeah. You can't bargain with the law of karma. We can't bargain with the Lord of Death. Yeah. Lord of Death, I'm a little bit busy today. Yeah. Could you come back tomorrow? Or maybe, how about a week? Yeah. Doesn't matter. Because when we die, our whole experience, this life is gone. We've had beginningless lifetimes. Do you remember any of them? Yeah. You've been the highest ranked people. You've been the lowest ranked people. Does any of that matter to you now? People have praised you. People have killed you in previous lives. Does any of it matter? No, the only thing that matters is the virtue or non-virtue we create. Whether we've practiced the Dharma and transformed our mind, that's the only thing that matters after we die from this life. Okay? So whatever things I enjoy will become a memory. And when we die, we can't even take our photo album with us. We can't take that screen with that changes photos every 10 seconds, that shows you pictures of yourself and pictures of your loved ones. You can't take that with you. Yeah, you can't take your scrapbooks with you. You can't take your pictures folder on your computer. None of that comes with. It's all a memory. Yeah? And then you think, oh, but as an old person, I've lived this wonderful life. I have so many memories. All the young people are going to gather around me, and they want to hear the story of my life. Just like they wanted to do that for Mahatma Gandhi and John Lewis. Everybody wanted to hear their life story. Everybody will want to hear my life story. Really? Really? Where are all those people right now? They don't want to hear our life story right now. Yeah. So don't plan on, pontificating when you're older and sharing all your truths with the world because you know so much. Okay, so all of that will become a memory. Whatever has passed will not be seen again. There's no way to recreate it. I've had fantastic meditations. Tara appeared to me. For sure, all the young people want to hear that time of when Tara appeared to me. And I can tell them about how I viewed Tara and what she said to me. Because I'm a great practitioner. I got spiritual realizations in this life. Ooh, goody. I will be known. They will talk about me like they talk about Patrul Rinpoche and Je Tsongkhapa and Sakya Pandita, and the Karmapa. I will be famous for having spiritual realizations. Yeah? So, and I can fake it. I know how to fake it so it looks like I'm holy. And these people, they're so stupid they don't even know. So you want all the stupid people to think that you're a wholly accomplished spiritual practitioner. Yeah, that's going to really help, isn't it? Okay? So just watch the fantasies that come in your life and say, even if they happen, do any of them matter? None of that matters. Our virtue and non-virtue are what matters. So before I became a nun, well, I have to tell you the whole story about my hair. Okay, so you're all gathered around. I can tell you my very important story about my hair. So when I was a little girl, they had a hairstyle called a ducktail. That was very, do you remember the ducktail? So you had short hair, and then it was a little pointy part behind. So my mother had my hair in a ducktail. So we were walking down the street one day, and one man came up and put his hand on my head and said, "Hi, Sonny." "You called me Sonny? I am not Sonny. I am a girl. Don't call me that." Oh. So I thought, because he did that because I had a ducktail. So my aim from that age, I was maybe 4 years old, was to grow long hair, because then nobody would ever call me Sonny again. So I wanted to grow long hair. My mother didn't want me to have long hair, because when you have a kid that has long hair, it's a real nuisance. It gets tangled up. You have to wash it. You want your kid to have short hair. It just makes it so much easier for mothers. But I wanted long hair. So finally, when I was old enough to have control over my own hair, I grew it long. So by the time I met the Dharma, I had hair down to my waist. When I pulled it, it was curly, so it didn't do it. But it was actually really down to my waist when I pulled the curls. And it had these kind of red highlights. It was very thick. I didn't really look like all the models on TV, because they all had blonde, straight hair, and they all went like this. And, I just couldn't do that. But it was the hippie age, so it didn't matter so much if I had, curly hair, as long as I had the right hippie clothes, which I did, because I knew how to sew, so I had the greatest kind of patches on my jeans. Nowadays people buy torn jeans. How stupid. In my area, we got whole jeans and we made them torn. And then we patched really cool patches on it, That was really a status symbol, your hair, your patched jeans, and your peasant shirt. It had to either be from India or Mexico or the Caribbean, but some, colorful, embroidered something shirt. Yeah. And it was the same for the guys. Yeah, same for the guys. So that's what I did. And then I met the Dharma, and then it was like, just like a dream experience, whatever things I enjoy will become a memory. Whatever has passed will not be seen again. And my teacher pointed out to me the faults of attachment. And one of the things I was really attached to was my hair. My beautiful hair that it took me years and years and years to grow out. And I was attached to it. And so, you know what I did in my meditation? I couldn't bring myself to cut it off. No way was I going to cut it off. So I imagined what I would look like lying in a coffin with my beautiful long hair. In my embroidered blouse and patched jeans. Although, if my family had anything to do with it, that's not what I would be wearing in the coffin. in my prom dress. That's how my family would want it, in the coffin. There's this body with beautiful long hair. And what good is it going to do me? So I meditated like that for a long time, for a few months. Yeah, when you're in your 20s, a few months is a long time. And I eventually got to the point where I could cut my hair and feel good about it. But, now looking back on it, it's like, what kind of stupidagio was that, being attached to my hair? Yeah. Imagining all these people walking by the casket saying, she's so beautiful. Look at that hair. She's so beautiful. What a pity she died so young. Okay. Verse 37. Even within this brief life, many friends and foes have passed, but whatever unbearable wrongdoing I committed for them remains ahead of me. So even in my life, I've committed wrongdoings for my friends, so that they'll be my friends, so that they'll like me and they'll care about me. I've done wrongdoings to get rid of my enemies and make them suffer. But my friends and enemies have died. They've passed. But the karma I created out of attachment and anger, out of wrong views and jealousy and arrogance, the 10 non-virtues, all that, the results of all that is in front of me. So friends and foes behind, never see them again. And this perfect future I dreamed of being the one with the beautiful long hair, is not what is awaiting me in my next life. What's awaiting me is the results of my non-virtuous actions created for friends and foes in this life. 38. Thereby, through not having realized that I shall suddenly vanish, I committed so much wrong out of ignorance, lust, and hate. Okay, so through not having realized that I shall suddenly vanish. Wait a minute, I won't vanish. The I goes on to the next life. Because people say, John died, Susan died. That person goes on to the next life. Wrong again. The person of this life, who is John or Susan or, whatever, whoever you are, when the body and mind of that life separate, that person is no longer. We say John is reborn. John is not reborn. Somebody else is that future life. That's the specific eyes. We have a specific eye for this life. For each lifetime, there's a specific eye. John and Harry and, Ethel and Meredith and whoever it is, okay? Those are the specific eyes. The general eye is what's labeled independence on all those specific eyes. But the specific eye ceases when the body and mind of this life separate. Okay, so I do vanish. Even though people continue to talk about me, what they're labeling me is not actually me. Because usually if people are going to talk about Chodron, you have to label that on the basis of designation, which would be this body and mind. This body and mind, after I die, are no longer. Yeah. What they're labeling Chodron is actually a past phenomena. Something that existed and has ceased. Existed but no longer exists. Okay? So I do vanish. But not realizing that, I committed so much wrong out of ignorance, lust, and hate. So ignorance, so often, because we haven't studied the Dharma, we don't know what to practice and avoid. Yeah. We think that certain non-virtuous actions are virtue. Like people who do animal sacrifice. Every year in the autumn in Nepal, they do a huge animal sacrifice. It's horrible. But they believe that it pleases the gods. But it actually creates a ton of negativity. And so, too, there's many actions we do that we may think are virtuous, but it's because we don't really understand karma. Okay? So we commit negativities out of ignorance, out of lust. Okay? So lust we usually associate with sexual lust. It can also mean attachment. Attachment in general to anything. And this is the one that really propels our samsara. Okay? Although ignorance is the root of samsara, in the four truths, the Buddha attributes the main thing to craving. Yeah, craving, lust, attachment. I crave, I want, I must have. And the mind, the wisdom, either we don't recognize it as negative, or we do, but we throw our wisdom out the window at that time, and we're totally overwhelmed by the lust and the attachment. Out of control, overwhelmed. Yeah. We usually think of people being out of control when they're really angry. But people are just as out of control through attachment. Yeah. When our mind wants something really bad, we will stop at nothing. Okay? When there's lust in the mind, yeah, we will satisfy it. Yeah? And in doing so, we've commit non-virtue. And then, needless to say, with hate and anger and resentment and loathing, yeah, we do all sorts of non-virtue. So remaining, 39, remaining neither day nor night, life is always slipping by and never getting any longer. Why would death not come to one like me? So the Lord of Death, yeah, doesn't care. And our life, every moment, going. We feel like I'm the same person as I was yesterday. We're not. We're a day older. We're a day closer to death. Yeah, we're a day closer to death, and we don't know when the day of death is. Okay? So life is always slipping by and never getting any longer. So why do we think that death won't come to me? Why do we think it's always somebody else who dies? Or it's always somebody else who has an accident? It's always somebody else who has a stroke or a heart attack or kidney disease or cancer. It's not me. Yeah. So we think like that, or we get so self-absorbed that we're totally panicked of, I'm going to be the person that get kidney disease and heart disease and cancer and stroke, and it's all going to happen today, and I'm totally freaked out because I don't want to die. So where's the doctor that's going to save me? Yeah, I don't want to die, I don't want to die, I don't want to die. Yeah. So we go to the two extremes. Either death is a long way away. Well, actually, it's not a long way away. It won't happen to me at all. Then, sometime when you get older, the idea comes, well, maybe it'll happen to me. Yeah, maybe. But maybe not. Because I'm going to eat all the right things and be very healthy. Yeah. I'm going to have so much acupuncture that I'm going to be a pincushion. I'm going to take so many vitamins and so many pills with all sorts of names that nobody can pronounce that I'm going to defeat death. And if worse comes to worse, there's cryogenics. I'll be like Walt Disney. They'll freeze my body, until the doctors and scientists figure out a way to restore it and bring me back to life. Yeah. And did you know that it is cheaper if you just freeze your head than if you freeze the whole body? Yeah, it's cheaper. So they give you special deals on cryogenics. Yeah, but if you want to have your whole body frozen, that is going to cost more. Yeah. But your hair is attached to your head, so you can do just your head. And then you get your hair for free. And then you can be sitting on the shelf in the cryogenics place next to Walt Disney. And when they bring you back to life, you can say, Walt Disney was my neighbor. We were really good friends. So why do I think death isn't going to come to me? You know why? Because I have this thing of I imagine, I'm a Buddhist practitioner, so I can't ignore death. So I imagine all the different ways I could die and all the different ways I could get sick or injured or whatever. Because if I think I could die that way, then for sure I won't. Because I'll die in a way that will surprise me, that I haven't thought of before. So I've gone through many ways of, different getting cancer and different injury and things like that. I never thought of having arthritis in my hip. And see, I told you, that's what happens. Yeah, so that was just a trial run. I'm not going to die from arthritis of the hip. But I've got to really get back to thinking of all the different ways I could die and not leave one out, because if I leave one out, that's the one that's going to get me. Okay, verse 40. While I am lying in bed, although surrounded by my friends and relatives, the feeling of life being severed will be experienced by me alone. Okay, so create the scene. This is the time, everybody who likes to be the star of something. We're going to be the star of our own death. So there you are. Do you want to die at home or in a hospital or a hospice? Hospice, you'll probably be medicated. We don't want to die there because we want to really enjoy having everybody around us. Okay, so maybe you want to die at home? Yeah. Who wants to die in the hospital? Our neighbor's going to be watching, InfoWars in the bed next to us. We don't want to listen to that while we're dying. So we're dying at home. Nice. Peaceful. You have your cat. You have your dog. You have the whole family around you. Well, not the whole family, just the part of the family that you get along with. The ones that you don't like, they're far away. So you're lying there, and the family's around, and they're all looking at you, Even the ones you didn't get along with and the ones who harmed you, they're there too, because they are so full of regret for the horrible way they treated you while you were alive. Okay, so all those people, those family members you battled with, they're all there. And the ones who love you they're so full of love for you, holding your hand and stroking you. And the people who harmed you, they're there, and they're all crawling on their hands and knees, apologizing because they finally got it, how much they hurt you in their life, and they're so full of regret. And you're lying there on the bed, looking so attractive. Yeah. The tubes going up your You look so gorgeous with the tube. With the tubes going up your nose and the tubes going down your mouth. Like we've been seeing in the hospitals where the people are in ICU with COVID. And you have so many tubes and so many machines attached to you that they're all singing a song because their beeps are coordinated, And they're even singing a Buddha song, with beeps. Because your EEG is beeping and your EKG is beeping. But you are sitting there looking so attractive and so holy. But you're dying, and the world is mourning that because they are losing you. So your whole family is crying, sobbing. Your mother and father are there sobbing because you, their precious child, are dying. Your brothers and sisters are there, overcome with grief. Your children are there. They can't bear to see you go. Even your cat doesn't want you to leave. Yeah, you got the picture? And then one of them comes up with a revised edition of your will and says, sign here. Yeah? But you're too smart. Despite all the tubes and things in you, that they're trying to make you leave your diamond rings and jade tortoises to a relative that you don't like, and that then they're all going to fight over it when you die. But you know what? Even if you don't sign, they're still going to fight over it when you die. Because one relative wants the blue goblets that were in your armoire, the blue, there's such a beautiful shade of blue, really gorgeous. Yeah, more than one person's going to want them. They're going to fight over them. Somebody else is going to want your stamp collection. You collected stamps since you were 7 years old. It's worth a fortune. Somebody's going to want that. Nobody's going to want your old computer, but they may want the stuff on it. Okay. So, doesn't matter you sign the will or not, because they're still going to fight. But you really want that green jade tortoise to go to your nephew or your niece. Yeah. So the feeling of life being severed will be experienced by me alone. Yeah. They're all there going through their own stuff. And basically, I don't count at all. I just happen to be the person that is the object of all their emotion. But they're right now involved in their emotion. They're not really involved with me. 41. Actually, maybe this is a good place to stop. There's probably some questions. Okay, so 41. Yeah, go ahead.
I've got about 4 or 5 questions here, so we'll see how we go. Jana asks, why aspire for rebirth in Amitabha's Pure Land? What realm is that? Does a fortunate human rebirth in the desire realm have greater potential for progressing towards Buddhahood?
Okay, so what are the advantages of being born in Amitabha's?
Yeah, why do I want to aspire to be reborn there? And where is it?
Okay, well, where is it? It's in your mind, okay? But there's lots of pictures of it, but it's actually in your mind. It's a Pure Land established by Amitabha Buddha, and the advantages of being born there is that all the conditions are very suitable for practicing the Dharma. So they say when the wind blows through the leaves, that's the sound of a teaching of impermanence. Okay, so all around you, there's Dharma teachings. Everybody there is a Dharma practitioner. Yeah, so you better show up for meditation. You cannot skip because everybody else around you is practicing at that time. Okay? And everybody's teaching each other. So it becomes a very conducive for Dharma practice. But in terms of practicing Tantra, then a human body, a human life is most advantageous.
Someone else asks, maybe you have explained it before, but I'm confused. If your mind stream can remember what you do during this life, why can't it remember it afterwards? I'm presuming in the next life.
Okay. Do you remember everything that happened to you this life? Okay. When you were 3 years old, on August, what is it, 9th, 8th, 6th? Yeah. How about just August, when you were 3 years old? Do you remember what happened to you on all the days of that August? Okay. And that was this life. And you were 3 years old. Or maybe 3 months old. Do you remember anything then? So the ability to remember comes later. Yeah? We don't remember everything. And even from, as adults where we remember things, okay, do you remember what you ate July 17th of this year? What did you eat for lunch? Brussels sprouts, mushrooms, potatoes, and gravy. That's a good a guess as anything. That's what, for the people who aren't here, that's one of the favorite dishes of one of our cooks. Okay. So, oh, and I forgot the chickpeas. They gotta get no chickpeas. Okay, but we have 300 pounds of them, don't we? Okay. Yeah. So we don't remember everything. And especially what happens leaving one body, going through the intermediate state, taking rebirth, it's very, what's the word? Traumatic. And, how much are you going to remember? Yeah, because there's lots of things happening and you're not really familiar with it all.
How does your karmic mind stream stay together to be reborn in the next life if there is no I, self, me, and so on? How does this happen to then be reborn as that mind stream in another realm?
Okay, so this is the famous thing that all Buddhist traditions deal with. If there's no inherently existent self, what carries the karma? And so all religions deal with this. So, some schools say there's a soul. Yeah, or in Indian terms, it's an Atman, something that's permanent, monolithic, independent. Yeah, the essence of you-ness, and it carries the karma. Okay? Or there's a mind basis of all that carries the karma. Or the mental consciousness carries the karma. Or something, From the Prasangika view, the I exists, but when you analyze, you can't find it. So the only I that exists is one that we can't find when we analyze, when we search for it. It's one that exists by being merely designated. That I carries the karma, the karmic seeds. But the karmic seeds also aren't inherently existent. Yeah. We think of karmic seeds, and our mind is so outwardly oriented towards physical things that the idea of a mind basis of all or a soul, goes perfectly with the physicality of a seed. Okay? So we visualize, here's my soul, here's my mind basis of all. It doesn't really look like a package of tissues. It's something more ethereal, made of light. You're not quite sure what it's made out of, but that's my soul. And then there's all these little dots on it. Yeah. And the dots are all the karmic seeds. Okay? So there's this thing. It's not grossly physical, like my tissue sprinkled with pepper. Okay? It's more ethereal, but it's still something that is there, that's really there, that you can grab and hold on to. Okay? So that's the grasping at true existence. There's something there that is the real me that carries the karma. If that thing existed, tell us what it is. Find it. If it existed, the more we analyzed, the closer we searched, the more vivid it would become. Yeah. But instead, it kind of evaporates. And the only thing we're left with is something that you can't find when analyzed, but exists by being merely designated. And that's what carries the karmic seeds. One more question?
I'm confused about terms or words. Isn't it our conscience that's, I think she means consciousness that migrates rather than the mind?
I'm using mind and consciousness as synonymous here. That which is clear and cognizant.